So, good morning, everyone. I'm really chuffed that you're all here. I know it's tricky on a January morning to get out of bed this early, um, but I think you'll be glad, glad that you make the effort, and it will get easier. That's all I can say. When I started doing this early morning practice, it did feel hard, and there was a lot of mental resistance to it in the early days. I feel like I had better things to do, or I'd be better off doing it later in the day because the body feels more sort of supple later in the day. So just get in the habit of noticing those resistant thoughts, and you always have to become friends with them. Don't try and stop them. They will always be there in my experience, or they'll always be changing. If maybe you get rid of one and another one will come up. So just get into the habit of noticing them and accepting that they're likely always going to be there. And just another little thing about when you have a morning practice, it's nice to have a little bit of ritual around it. So I do. You don't have to do this, but I light a candle, and I find that's just like a little bit of beginning my practice, setting up the space. So you don't have to do that, but maybe you'll find something similar that works nicely. I also use a bit of this little bit of stick of wood, Palo Santo, I think you call it, and I burn that for like a moment or two, just to create a nice fragrance. You could use a bit of essential oil or something similar. So we're just going to just take a moment to go inward. You can take your left hand, just rest it over your heart, and we're just sensing what's going on here for you. Just sensing the movement of the breath under the hand. We're not trying to change anything at the moment, just sensing. And we'll take the other hand and rest it over the belly. Just, yeah, it's just checking in, really, checking in. And in that process of checking in, this is where you might get a bit of resistance and resistant thought. Just if that comes up for you, it's completely normal. So just noticing it, that's all, not trying to change anything. And now we're going to lie down on our side. So this is where take some support for your head. And I'm going to lie on my left side. You don't have to, but you could do the other side, but I'll give instructions as though you were lying on your left side. So lying down, support your head. You're going to have your left hand out, your bottom hand out in front of you, and you're going to start with your legs bent. So just get comfy there for a moment. And then we're going to raise the other hand and really extend through the fingers, open up the palm. You can wiggle around a little bit with fingers. We're really going for quite a strong stretch here. And then we're going to extend the top leg. And you can flex the foot, you can do a little bit of movement with the ankle, little rotations with the ankle. And then very slowly, we're going for a side stretch. So we're going to extend the top hand so it comes over the ear. And this is where you can use your other block, if you're using a block or a book, and sort of really press into that block and push the block away. And we're trying to, it's an effort. There is effort involved in this. It might not look like a lot's happening, but really pressing out through the heel of that lifted leg and extending away through the fingers of the top hand. And then we're going to just bring everything in. So you're going to bring that hand up and you're going to bring the knee in, pausing for a moment. We'll come back into that stretch. We'll just do that movement a few times, just a few repetitions of that, just to wake up the whole of the side body, and hopefully got a feeling of the stretch coming into the waist, into the ribs, the side ribs. And just, I'm not going to give you too much in the way of instructions around breathing, but do breathe. Just make time to breathe. Sounds like an obvious thing to say, but it's so natural for us to hold our breath when we're concentrating, and that you can allow your breath to be audible as well. And then hopefully got a feeling of really invigorating the side of that body, of the body. And then we're going to bring everything back in. So the knee comes in, the hand comes up, and we're going to let that relax the lower body, relax the raised arm. The arm is lifted, but we're letting it drift. We're just letting it drift. Not too much effort here, just obviously some effort in holding the arm. And then we're just going to let that arm drift back. So you're going to feel a lot of stretch around the pectoralis muscle, the front of the chest. And we're moving into a twist. We're moving into a twist. And I do this quite a lot. So my arm is going to sort of drift back roughly around shoulder height, but some of you might have quite a lot of issues with your shoulders. So if you're finding that your shoulders are resistant, then don't have the arm quite so high up around the shoulder. You can let it drift back towards your waist. So just taking a bit of time. And finally, at some point, and there's no rush really, well, obviously we don't have infinite amount of time, letting the arm come back towards the floor. And your head can move as well, because you're moving into this twist. So your head is likely to want to move back towards the arm behind you. If your neck is stiff, perhaps your head won't go very far. So just noticing if it is quite stiff. We're just breathing into this pose, really just taking time to breathe in and out through the nose. And also to enjoy it. Allow it to be. If it's not feeling pleasant, can you make some small adjustments so it feels good for you? And attention to the arm, the raised arm, just noticing that in the shoulder blade on that side of the arm, and can you press the shoulder blade back in towards the floor? And if you're feeling some strain, maybe you've overreached, you can adjust the position of the arm and move it back down towards the waist. And then completely relaxing the body. No effort now, just so we're alternating between effort and no effort. So really letting go, let the body be heavy. Just as when we were doing the yoga nidra yesterday. And because we did the stretching, we had that sort of more vigorous activity, you're gonna, in your letting go, you're gonna have a sense of that aliveness in the body, So just sensing. And then we're going to come out of this pose. So we're going to let that the arm behind you, we're going to allow it to drift back up towards the ceiling. And then bringing it over to meet the other hand. And just pausing there. Take a breath. And we're going to do the other side. So you don't have to come up. I'm going to come up because I want to continue to face you. I don't want to turn away from you, but you could just turn away over to the other side. And again, sort of supporting the head. You might feel that you don't need a support for the head, but I definitely do. And then we're going to start with the legs bent and the other arm raised. So really sensing, we want to bring that sense of sort of vibrancy, aliveness into the hand and the arm. So you could move the wrists, open up the palm, wriggle the fingers. And then we're going to, like we did earlier, take the arm over the ear and extend the foot. Very much effort here. You can, it's meditative, but you can still be meditative and apply some effort. Not saying that I want you to strain, just to have a sense of waking things up in the body. And then bringing the knee in, bringing the arm back up. Just do a few repetitions. The block is just to give you a little bit of support so you can press something, press the hand into the block. And you can, with each repetition, maybe you'll find another little part of that, the side body opening into the waist, into the ribs, into the armpit, into the side of the arm, into the side of the leg, shin. So bringing awareness and vitality into every cell. And breathing as you move. And then we're coming back, so bring that top knee in to rest on the bottom knee. And now we're just sort of allowing gravity more to work. We're a little bit of drifting with the arm. It's a different, softer sort of movement. And exploring where that arm can go. And it might be that if you've had a frozen shoulder or some kind of injury, maybe the arm is not going to be upright. Maybe it's going to be more towards the waist, and that is your stretch for today. So this is very much, though I talked about some effort, it's not forcing. We are working with the body in a sympathetic way, harmonizing. And then just allow the arm to drift back to where it naturally wants to go, and then letting the weight go. And your head, you might feel that you don't need support under the head now. You might move the block, or your head can just naturally turn up towards the ceiling and allow the weight of the body to drop. and take time to breathe and to enjoy this moment of not doing, not effort. In a moment, we're going to come back. There's no rush. If you feel like you want to spend longer, that's completely good, fine. But when you are ready, if you are ready, you can just allow that arm to drift back up. And it's going to be a very gentle movement. So I wouldn't go for a straight arm, poker straight. Allow it to drift up with a little softness in the elbow. And the head will turn and bringing that hand back. So both hands come together, resting just on the side. And gently coming. You've got two options. You could take a kneeling position. Well, in fact, there's many options. Kneeling position. You could sit cross-legged. You can sit on a chair. Just taking a moment, just a little pause before you go back into your day. Nice thing is just to bring the hand onto the heart. Again, as we do at the beginning, sensing. The belly. I'm going to share my sankalpa, my intention. You might have your own. I encourage you to have your own, but I found when I started with this idea of an intention, I couldn't come up with anything. So that's why I'm sharing mine. So all is well. Everything's working out for me. All is well. Just letting that go, and trusting, which is a practice in all of its own. The trusting is not always easy, but something to work on. Thank you so much, everybody. Great to see you all. Have a lovely day. And I will see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Heidi.
Oh, you're totally welcome. Totally welcome.
Thank you.
Have a lovely day.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Nice to see you, Eileen.